We're now ready to turn this show over to you and to Locofy.
Whoa. Hey. All right. Well, tonight we have a special guest. We have Mr. Garb from Locofy, and he is going to take the battery powered a little further than the RC cars, which we have presented rather, and he is going to show us his product now. I would like to ask him first, how long has Locofy been in business?
Hello, yeah. Locofy has been in business for more than 5 years now.
5 years.
Yeah, as I give my presentation, I'm gonna probably cover that. You'll get a more detailed picture.
And how did you get started in the business? What made you, want to get into, model railroads and sound systems and control systems? What brought that on?
It's a long story. So I've been a rail fan pretty much all my life, and so when I like about 10 years ago or so, I discovered this model railroading, and it was really neat to see everything miniaturized and how detailed things can be to kind of relive that inside your room because you don't see all those. I've traveled myself in like steam locomotives, and I don't see those anymore. So it just fascinated me, and then my son was born. He was about 2, and for some reason, I don't recall, like he was interested into some kind of a toy train, and I was like, let me get him something which is more real looking, rather than those bump and go kind of trains or those that blow the bubbles, instead of the actual, the steam or the smoke. So I got him this, just probably like many others, this Parkman starter set, and he just, I mean, being a 2-year-old or 3, I mean, he was able to, turn the knob and kind of make the train go in circles, stop it, go again, and then that struck me like, is that the end of it? Like, how long can you keep going in circles? So that got me thinking, and with my background in software and especially networking and electronics, so I thought this has to be something really very simple, and I just thought of writing an app for it and using like a Wi-Fi chip to kind of simply control the train, and it would just use the track power and nothing else. And before that, I thought, let me just do some research. Maybe there is something out there already. And all I could see, as probably everyone knows, is this ECC. And uh, I did not have a layout, so I didn't want to make it like a permanent thing. I like to, make different complex shapes out of tracks and then run the train. So I didn't want to be like stuck to a system where everything is just wired and you're not able to do anything with it. So, so I guess I thought I really didn't find anything in the market. I was pretty surprised. I thought maybe there is something out there. I just don't know. But how hard could it be to, write, develop a system like that? So I just did that, and I just got so much interested into it. I wanted to do sounds. I wanted to do like everything more and more prototypical. And once I had these, sort of hobby grade systems, which were actually pretty functional, I just posted a YouTube video of it, and not not long after that, I just saw people, putting comments on the video like, "Are you selling this?" I was like, "No, I just never even thought about it." But then that did give me an idea, and I thought maybe I should just try to explore it. So I just went to this local Great Train show. I mean, didn't really take much to set up a table and a small piece of track work and just have the trains running there. And we were not selling anything. We just wanted to see what people thought about it, and we just noticed our table was probably one of the most crowded ones, and people really seemed interested. Uh, so I first initially actually I thought I would just sort of open source, the hardware design and everything. But then I realized probably nobody's gonna go out and get the boards done or put the components on it. So I guess that they would want something which is already ready-made, built, and functional. And but I should be able to, uh, you know, do the best, to help the community out there and kind of just uh, just support them and in the best possible way. So I just started, and we just started this thing. Never.
Okay,
And
your system that you use the batteries with, you've got steam and diesel sounds.
mhm.
Can you tell us a little bit about the battery connection to your sounds and how it all works?
So the battery is used to simply power the board, and the board itself has a micro SD card on it. The micro SD card contains all the sounds. So the way I developed the system, as I told you, like I did not know anything about like any ABC about DCC. So I, it was all like purely grounds up approach, and the way I could imagine was uh, no, me not going out and like doing all the sounds for everyone. Let everyone, I mean, there's plenty of artists out there who probably are very good audio engineers. Let me just tap their potential and let them come up with these sounds. I just need to provide an enabler, which is, a way for them to extract those sounds and put them on the micro SD, and then we just play the sound. So the way it works is the micro SD has a bunch of files. Some of them are sound files, some of them define the configuration, and some of them define sort of like not a programming, but different parts of the sound sequences. And one of the files is for define whether it's a steam engine or if it's a diesel engine, and that kind of gives the flexibility to expand to maybe electric or maybe thermostat train, or you can define different categories like that, and go from there. So so yeah, the battery basically powers the board, and the board comes with integrated sounds.
Well, your boards will actually run any scale train, won't they? Because you
Yes,
can supply any amount of voltage up to
yes,
what,
yes.
24, something like that. So,
So the boards can work on any voltage from 7 volts all the way to 24 volts, and that means you can have your locomotive and run it on any type of battery except 1S. 1S would need to be boosted up, but a 2S would be just fine, like a 2S LiPo, and all the way to I believe 5S. I know a customer who's using 5S, and or you can just use track power all the way to 20.
Are there you're talking about 5 cells, right? 5 cells,
Okay.
up to 5
Yeah,
cells.
yeah, I think yeah, that should be possible.
Are there any current limitations on the system?
So by default, the board has a motor. So the maximum power is consumed by the motor. And by default, the board has a capacity, the smallest of our boards has a capacity of about 1.5 amperes.
Okay.
And then we have decided to come out with boards specifically for like larger scales. And before we do that, I mean, there was already a huge demand, people asking us. I thought maybe it's just simpler to kind of expose the PWM outputs, and you can just plug any H bridge out there, any third party H bridge, and you just have a system. All the control, the commands, they're all residing on the Wi-Fi chip, and that's all we need. So we just would talk from the your smartphone to the Wi-Fi chip, and the chip would just send the command over to the H bridge, and it's not a very difficult connection. And yeah, and people have resorted to using that.
So you're saying for larger locomotives that require more power, you would have an H bridge in front of your board
Yeah,
to control the motor.
absolutely, absolutely. And one of our customers, he did some research, and he actually came up with this very nice little board. I probably have it somewhere around here. Uh, it can go up to this. I hope you can see it. It can go up to 13 amps.
Okay.
It's pretty small, and it can support up to 13 amps. And I know talk to some modelers, especially the brass, the heavy engines for larger scale, and if they're pulling some heavy load, it can go up to tens of amps in some cases. So this board should be pretty good in those
You meant
cases.
you mentioned that it can work with a smartphone,
Mhm.
Android, iPhone. Which one?
So currently we support Android and the Amazon Fire devices. We still do not have an app for the iPhones.
Okay. And where do you get the app that you have to download to the Android?
Uh, so you basically, for the first time, you will connect to the internet, maybe your home Wi-Fi or something with the
Uh-huh.
Google Play Store, download the app, and that's all. Then you can actually, uh, take out the SIM card or whatever and just disconnect from your internet connection and just directly control the locomotives.
Okay. And does the model or the version of the Android make any difference to the system?
We support Android 5 and higher. So
Okay.
anything before that is not supported. Even Google is kind of phasing out those things, so it's really hard to keep the compatibility. But 5 is pretty old, so I mean it still gives you quite a decent variety all the way from 5 to the latest.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
your
and we
controller is actually on the phone, on the screen of the phone, right? And you operate it from the screen
yeah,
on your Android phone.
yeah. And the app is actually written in a way it simulates like a dashboard of your locomotive. It has a little speedometer which actually displays the actual speed, which is just not, I guess, I don't think any other system actually
No.
does that. Yeah. So you can actually see the speed and then kind of drive your locomotive, accordingly. And there is an RPM kind of meter for the diesels. That's sort of fake, but then you have the throttle, you have the horn. So you actually have the buttons to control things, and for each button press, you get like a tactile feedback. You can enable or disable depending on your preferences in the app, and there's tactile feedback on the throttle. So um, uh, and uh, and there is like the cab sounds. So for each press of button, you actually hear the way you would hear in a cab, uh, like the sounds from the engine are like as you hear from a distance, they're different than what you would hear in a cab. So that's kind of the app gives.
So your board's actually your board actually comes with a speaker attached to it. Am I right?
Yes, so we provide like the whole complete package. It's not like you just get the board and then you buy the extras. I mean, it's a sound-enabled board, so we didn't want to like sell speakers extra. I mean, we already provide a very premium speaker, so uh, the cost is sort of all included, and uh, there's nothing like hidden there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Yeah, and we also ship usually we ship with like some spare wires, heat shrink tubes, LEDs and stuff, so that the user doesn't have to like fumble around or purchase them separately. So all you need is like a soldering iron. That's something we don't ship. So.
Yeah. No.
If
Now,
if you didn't put an H bridge between the motor and the board, is the board putting out the same type of signal that most decoders put out to the motor?
Yeah, absolutely. And so the board does have an H bridge on the board. There is an H bridge on the board which is putting out almost 1.5 amps.
Okay.
We have the first generation board, which is slightly larger, which can support up to 2 amps, but that does not have the steam functionality, like does not support steam sounds. Uh, so that can put out up to 2 amps, but the smaller board does not handle that much amps. I mean, there is basically the heat issues. So the
Sure.
smaller you go, the more heat it generates. That's the
Sure.
whole idea. Yeah, so it's limited to 1.5 amps, but that's where we expose like two separate outputs, and you can drive any HP you want.
So this is getting pretty technical. Is it possible for us to see the presentation and get kind of the overall view?
Yeah, let me just start the presentation, share my screen here. I believe we have about how much, like 15 minutes now?
Okay.
Yeah. So I will go accordingly. Okay. The first thing I wanted to start with in my presentation was actually a video. And so I believe most of the audience here is large scale, at least S scale and larger. So
No, not really.
yeah.
Not really. It's all over the board. In scale, HO, everybody.
Okay. Yeah. So this video is from like a dead rail install from a customer uh, who did the install in an O scale, and he did quite a few ingenious things, to get all the sounds and everything working right. And it just actually reminded something very, very prototypical. So let me actually share that screen instead. Yeah. This is the kind of results you can get, using Locofy. I mean, the prototypical NAS, and this was an install in an O-scale Lionel ready to play locomotive, and this customer had, I guess, a bunch of them, so he did some experiments there. So all right, I mean, there is even a thread where this customer, his name is David Mahan, and he's posted, the entire install process and what exactly he did, how he installed the batteries, the pictures, and everything. I can share all those links later. All right, so Locofy. Most of you, I guess, are familiar, as I can see, with Locofy. For some of those uh, who are not familiar, I'll just briefly go over what exactly Locofy is. So we started back in 2018, as I mentioned earlier. It's more than 5 years, and we've been basically technology disruptors and innovators, and the first to bring Wi-Fi and onboard sound together. and without DCC. And why without DCC? We'll see in a moment. I mean, there's plenty of limitations and drawbacks that I saw that like in the very beginning. I just did not even want to try that. So, and since then, we have seen many more competitors jump the wagon in the area of wireless and, dead rail and all these things. But still, we are glad to have been the forefront and still the disruptors in this area. And we are not just digital; we are super digital technology, and since we started, back in 2018, we've been getting more and more attention. We were the winner of 2019 Model Railroader Reader's Choice Award, and in the category of innovation in non-DCC based electronics and control systems. It's an award we won again in 2020. And so basically, what does this tell about Locofy is that like customers love us. It was all readers and customers based kind of award, and uh, our customers really love us. And we got worldwide customers in more than 20 customers. I believe the last presentation I gave, a similar presentation, it was about 15. Now it's grown to 20. And our customers range from small kids to more than 100-year-old seniors. So, and we've been appeared and been reviewed in a lot of top magazines in the world. And we have the transcripts for the different languages and, of course, the US magazines on our website. So you can go and check out our news section. That's where we've listed that. And you can go ahead and read those reviews. So we've been to a couple of national train shows, some local train shows, and wherever we went, we've just drawn crowds. And not only that, we are also a proud uh, member of the NMRA Partnership Program, where we offer extra discounts to NMRA members. And in turn, for the purchases made using the NMRA discount codes, we donate a part of it back into the hobby. Uh, so, so what is Locofy? We talked about Locofy in the previous slide, like a like a brand. So, but we also refer to Locofy as a technology. Uh, Basically, we our goal is to simplify locomotive operations through the use of Wi-Fi technology, and that's uh, that's even our tagline, actually. And so, what else is Locofy? We also refer to our modules as Locofy, like Locofy modules. So basically, it just depends on the context we are talking. So, like what Locofy really means. In the very recently, we have also been referred to as a system. And even though we don't consider ourselves as a system, but we have embraced the term that we are a system because uh, like the power, the Wi-Fi, like the access point, or like the app, or the smartphones, all these things, we do not provide any of that. We let the modelers or the users choose whatever they want from whatever brand they want, be it like an old, laptop power supply to power your system, or any type of batteries you like have at home. We don't try to sell any of that stuff. So we just pretty much provide the modules, and so, but it still sort of forms a part of an system, and so that's also how we've been referred to. Uh, So we started back in 2018 with one basic capability to have the ability to update our firmware over the air. So we released our first generation in 2018, and that module is still getting updates today. It's getting all the latest features that other modules or the newer modules get, except for the sound updates. But all the other speed-related prototypicalness updates, that module still gets that. And because of that ability, we have been able to uh, come out with more updates. In 2019, we came out with customizable app settings, and we started with customizable loco settings. And 2021, we introduced consisting, and very recently we introduced theme. And we have plans for like the high current modules. We have a product which is currently stalled, but we are gonna revive it. It's called Amrit, which is very much catered towards dead rail. And of course, we're gonna come up with iOS updates or some accessory controls like turnout signal and stuff. So pretty exciting stuff in the future. And so what Locofy is not uh, is definitely not wiring or very very minimal wiring. Uh, with dead rail, it's absolute zero. That also means no extra equipment like the boosters, computers, like different adapters, programmers, command stations, buses, feeder drops, switches, circuit breakers, auto reversers. I mean, the list goes on. Frog juicers, reverse loop, all those electronics. Like you don't even have to solder the tracks. There's nothing, no headache. So, and not going under the table means you save your head, you save your sanity, and you actually save your head. So, and definitely, Locofy is none of that. And we don't believe in complexity. More complexity basically means more points of failure. It becomes more error prone, and then it just requires more maintenance. You're just constantly fixing things one after another, and that's not fun. So, so what Locofy is just four things: a power supply, which is a battery in the case of dead rail, the smartphone to download the app, the module, Locofy module, which goes in the trains, and an optional Wi-Fi router. If you want to really have very large network and you want to operate like over large distances. Uh, so the power supply, as you can see, can be actually we have in the case of dead rail, it's battery, but you can also we designed it in a way it can be powered with DC, DCC, or even AC. Just need a bridge rectifier and a capacitor in the loco. And and so the control is wireless, uh, specifically Wi-Fi. So we have basically managed to get rid of the traditional signal on the wire thing, and it doesn't ride on the power. So the separation of power from the control, we brought that to the market, and I think everybody's talking about it nowadays. We were the one who we postulated this idea back in 2018, and so I'll mention that it's the ability, that is the ability to go wireless, which makes it possible to separate this power component, and then we are free to use the power we want, which is battery in this case, and the power now resides in the loco. And so basically, no maintenance, no headaches, and obviously more fun. Okay, so this is how you install. I believe Steve is going to cover this in more detail. Maybe next episode, he's actually going to show the pictures of an install that he has done. But Locofy module comes with like 7 wires. So the ones that come from the track, I mean, you can just disconnect them and instead power it to the battery. The white, the blue, and the yellow, they go to the lights. The orange and the gray go to the motor. The speaker, which is already attached. You can, if you want, cut out that speaker and use any other if you want for some reason. I have gotten that request, but I guess most people are pretty much happy with what we have. Of course, for larger scales, we do ship out, we at least recommend using like a larger speaker. We provide some models, and then customers have used a variety of models, and all those different kinds of speakers that different customers have used. We have created a thread on our forum where people post these kinds of things, so you can benefit from that depending on the availability of space and the sound quality that you want. So briefly, like how does Locofy work is so first scenario is so the way Locofy works is the smartphone, which is basically the client, it connects to an access point. Now on the right hand side, you see on the screen, you see there is a Loco UP MP15 DC. Now when you go to your Android wireless settings, you connect to this Loco. It will show like connected here. And once that is done, you fire up the app. So your smartphone is now connected to this access point. The module is acting like an access point, like a router in your house. It just doesn't have internet connectivity, but it does have the Wi-Fi capability. And your smartphone is now gonna connect. It's connected to it. When you launch the app, you see the locomotive visible in the app, and you can just start operating it. Now, this module, this access point, has the capability to connect up to 7 or 8 devices. So if you have like a very small layout, you don't actually need an external Wi-Fi router. One of your locomotives can act like a Wi-Fi access point, and the rest of the locomotives can join the band. So in the case of so the module can act like an access point or as a client to an access point. So to illustrate that, I'll give you a demo of how exactly we add a loco and everything if we have time. Probably we don't, but so a single user can connect to multiple locomotives through the intermediate access point. And of course, what we have is multi-user, multi-engineer, multi-train control, where each user has control of their own train. As you can see in the diagram, the blue user can control like blue locomotives, red can control red, and it is all visible on the screen. You can actually see which locomotive is controlling which train, which engineer is controlling which train. Sorry. And so I just put a slide here. This is how the connectivity to high current module. This is the module I was showing you, the MD13S. And clean DC power supply is pretty much a battery. And if it's a battery, we don't even need a bridge rectifier. We just directly connect the H bridge on one side and we power the module on the other side. We use the PWM direction outputs and feed it directly to MD13S. That's all we need to do. And so what does Locofy offer? So in one sense, Locofy is simply another alternative to operate trains. The question becomes, why Locofy? What does it offer that the others don't? So you all know that there are plenty of systems out there to operate the train, and each one has its own merits and drawbacks. And people have even developed their in-house, custom systems to meet their own needs. I'm not going to go into each system, obviously, but just I'm here to talk about Locofy and what it can offer you and how you may benefit from it. So, uh, one word, it offers plenty, a lot. And so I'll quickly go over these points. I mean, because we don't have enough time here right now. So innovation, we bring everything technology related first to the market, and that's it. I mean, others are just, we take the lead really, and people see us, and then they just, of course, they want to grab part of that. So, and another aspect of the second aspect is obviously the simplicity and simplification. I mean, you don't need all those complicated systems, with no wiring, nothing. I mean, just simple install the module and just run the train. And so, uh, and simplicity also in terms of usage. It's intuitive, very easy to operate, and the throttle is probably there with you almost all the time. So let's say, modeler goes to another modeler's house and say, let's run trains. Like, did you bring your throttle? Yeah, I have the smartphone. Let's start running the train. That kind of thing. Uh, it offers flexibility. We designed it in a way to compatible with different types of power sources, different types of systems. We do not want to tie anyone into using a specific piece of electronic equipment. Uh, and so um, then, of course, we have scalability, which is basically uh, with the over-the-air updates, which are free. Customers get, recent updates and all the latest functionality, and 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 it's also scalable in terms of like having really really large networks of locomotives, and really long ranges, like literally infinite if you set up like a mesh network of all the Wi-Fi access points, and you can operate anywhere. And then we sell our modules. We sell, directly to the customers, and they're fully loaded, comes with speaker and everything. So there is nothing else there. And the technology, I mean, we offer technological advancement, like we offer the latest technologies that are out there, like integrating with IoT and Wi-Fi and everything gives you an edge, and you're able to bring more, you're able to offer more to the customers, more functionality, more features, rather than just trying to integrate everything with like something that just cannot do. So, there is no patchwork involved. It's like fresh, brand new. And uh, and of course, whatever we do, prototypical is at the like heart of it. We always focus on that before we develop any new feature. We try to bring as much of that. And so So, how do we take it to the next level by offering prototypical operation? We have speed profiles for customization. I wish I could show you. I have a couple of phones here set up for demo. I don't know if you'll have time to do that, but I can show you how, one engineer, when they control a train, the other engineer comes to know that it's been controlled by another engineer. And then how you can have different speed profiles for different, voltage. You can have a different voltage on your home track, take your locomotive, switch the speed profile to a different voltage, and you just run it prototypically on your new layout. And, and then we provide really fine speed control. We have we provide like more than 1,000 speed steps, and our scale speeds can be measured accurately up to 1/100th of a mile per hour. So when we actually do consisting, you really see the locomotives really match along well. And I would like to show you this auto speed matching and, auto shove, like how that is achieved. Like just define a speed profile, and consisting is like 1, 2, 3. Auto shove is like one of 1, 2, 3. So it's really easy. And we have features, which even the tactile kind of handheld throttles do not have. Like we have pressure sensitive emergency stops. So like if you're afraid that you might accidentally hit a button, on your smartphone, like it would stop your train. So we have this button for emergency stop, which you can configure for a specific pressure. You can actually set, like, if you really hit it really, really hard, then only my train is going to stop. So it's not like an accidental stop or anything. So, and one of the cool features is auto stop on any type of connection loss. So with enough access points, usually there is no connection loss. But for some reason, if there is a connection loss, your trains are not runaway trains ever. So the way it is accomplished is like if either the smartphone or the train loses contact with each other, the train would automatically just stop and until the connection is restored. And then we have feature like once you can just simply uh, lock your locomotive so that nobody else can take it and things like that. Which of course, if you agree verbally, that shouldn't happen. But okay. So to sort of summarize, I mean, uh, we just simplify Wi-Fi using Wi-Fi technology. We are Wi-Fi based, scalable, reliable, and with unlimited engineers and literally unlimited range. You can power it your way with any kind of power supply. We provide onboard sound, and we provide literally unparalleled prototypical operation. There is obviously no complicated setup, wiring, lost commands, or any extra equipment, and it's really easy to configure, use, and maintain. And now is like time for like demos, example videos, time permitting. Let me know if anybody is interested in how much time you do have. I can go over some of that.
So I really do appreciate you being here this evening and showing us all of this again. I mean, this is, as you know, I've been impressed with your system for many, many years and wrote about it early on, right after you started, not too long after you started anyway. And I really do think that this has some real potential for the battery power operators out there that are considering battery power. I think this could really be a help to them, from what I understand.
And I believe I have one of our customers is also here. He's like one of the customers who has probably the largest dead rail layout, using Locofy.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Hey, Rick, are you there? Maybe he dropped off. I don't know. Rick, Garth, are you there?
Rick.
Well, if he's not here tonight, if you could contact him, because I'd like to have him on the show in the future. Maybe you could come back with him and have him discuss it, because if he's really using this system with battery power, that's what this is all about right now for me, because I think there's an awful lot of people out there interested in taking a hard look at battery power. And if your system can help people with battery power get started and up and going, then that's what I'm interested in trying to show right now. So maybe Rick and you could come back and you can coordinate it through Steve, and we'll have both of you on sometime in the future to talk about specifically how he's using it with his dead rail system.
Sure. Yeah. I can actually quickly do this. Believe. Yeah. So if you go to, I think the videos. Actually, I wanted to go through our website as well, just to see where to find, different information. Like we have a forum dedicated to battery and dead rail.
Yeah.
And if you search for the word battery or dead rail, you'll come up with plenty of information and all the customers who have done it. And I wanted to mention this one particular customer, and like we consider him actually a battery guru, and like what he uses like all different kinds of batteries, and he does experiments with Locofi and
That's
so
why
on.
I was suggesting he might be perfect to come onto the show and and give us his experience with the different kinds of batteries and what he's done using your system and battery power.
Right, and we also have like on a website like section on videos where we have some customer layout with if you see this word dead rail here on the
Yep.
videos, you just go through it and you will see, how people have done, there's quite a few dead rail layouts people are just using this for. So,
Okay.
and of course, yeah, there's all these, testimonials and installs and everything. So, yeah,
Let
that's
me let me ask you one question. I don't have an Android phone. You also sell Android phones, right? For people like me that
no,
don't
no,
have
no.
them.
No, we do not sell Android phones. We do not we try not to sell any of these things. I mean, this is
Uh,
something which is out there. Everybody
how do
has
I
it.
how do I get an
Do not
Android? How do I get an
so
Android phone?
you Amazon, you get it for like less than $40.
Where do I
I
go? Where do I get it
Amazon,
though?
Amazon.
And, oh,
Yeah, I sent Steve the other day,
yeah.
right from Amazon.
Oh, okay.
So,
So I go to Amazon, I buy the phone on Amazon, it's less than $40, and I got my Android phone.
yeah, I can send you the link if you want. Sure.
If you could if you could give the link to Steve, then he can put it, he can talk about it maybe the next show, and
Yeah.
that solves that problem. But listen,
Yeah.
I do want to mention again, if you want to buy Locofi, now is the time to do it because the company is giving a special additional 15% discount tonight and tomorrow night, or today and tomorrow. And you have to, when you log on to the website to place the order, you have to use the code JK, S as in Sam, P as in Paul, L as in Larry, 2315. And that gives you the additional 15% discount for one Locofi for tonight, tomorrow, those 2 days, today and tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So if you're interested in this, now's a great time to buy one because you'll never get a better price than this, I don't think.
No.
So, Press, thank you so much for being here this evening and sharing all this information with us. And again, if you can get in touch with Rick and we can, excuse me, arrange for him to be on the show and you want to join him, then Steve can set that up and we'll get his input from a battery perspective and what he's done experimental-wise with your product.
Yeah, sure. I think he was on earlier. I'd seen him, but he probably dropped off. Yeah. But I just want to thank you and Steve for having me on the show. Glad to be here.
Well, I appreciate you coming back again. I can't thank you enough for the additional discount for the viewers and look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I do have some questions, I believe, in the chat. Like, I would appreciate if people can email me those questions and then I can respond to that.
Can we do that?
I mean, if I
don't have but I don't have the questions. I don't know what questions he's talking about.
People have posted some questions on the chat, I believe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So when using N-scale, is it possible to have the majority of electronics in a dummy locomotive or even two dummies? Yes, of course, that's possible. You can have electronics, and that's some of the N-scale installs have done. I didn't really bring it up because uh, many people want like everything, all the electronics, like under the loco shell. So that's not yet possible, but you can have the battery, the module, the speaker, like in a trailing car, and just run the wires, the motor wires to the just like a steam install, pretty much, like even an HO, and you can have N scale going. And the next question is, I have one Locofy installation in EBA F7 set with plenty of room for battery and dummy B, hoping to get wiring for that. I have three more to be installed in Steam. F7 setup works well, but I'm hitting Amazon and press the phone. Get on the battery. Recharge. Yeah, we don't have the Amrit available yet. So I either charging is definitely one of the drawbacks, I believe, of TEDRail, how to charge it. But there are systems out there which you can do trickle charging from the track. And if you have space available, like in the dummy units, those kind of systems can be installed there. Or you'll have to wait for Amrit to be out there, which probably is another year away or so. I can. And I believe that's all we had. And my email is Wi-Fi model railroad at gmail.com. And I actually did not bring up that slide. So it was like yeah.
Yeah.
This is the slide I forgot to put up.
And seriously, anybody that wants to contact you, if they lose your email or whatever, just let me know because I can put you in touch with him anytime. I've got his email.
Yes, of course.
Well, Bijoy, thank you so very much. We appreciate you being here this evening, and look forward to seeing you and Rick in the future. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Steve, thank you so much. It's been a very informative session. And next week, we look forward to some more battery power.
Yep, that's what we're going to do. See you next week.
Thank you.